My name is Right Honorable Toba Fatunla. I am the Speaker of Ekiti Youth Parliament, the third session of it, and then I'm also the Chairman, Conference of State Youth Parliament Speakers in Nigeria.
Hi, my name is Mayowa Olajide Akinleye, and you're welcome to this episode of Conversation Ekiti. With me today is the Speaker of the Ekiti State Youth Parliament, and we're talking about something very interesting today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. So you have a very interesting article out, and I felt that it was important that we speak to the ideas of that article. It is no more news that Ekiti State we will have to vote for a governor June 18, 2022.
Okay.
And as of today, all the candidates are marshaled out. They are lined up.
Yes.
From APC to NNPP. The 17 political parties that are participating in the election. Your article spoke about what type of governor Ekiti needs. What made you write that article?
Well, thank you for having me once again. I've looked at how the race has been in Ekiti since the new democratic dispensation will open up. The new administration will start soon, and then we have tried to estray the past people that have governed us in Ekiti State, starting from Otumba Niyi Adebayo in Ekiti State, and then I've been in Ekiti or around Ekiti for a very long time.
Yes.
So I gradually know the north, the south, the central, and almost everywhere. And when we have looked at the antecedents of people that have governed us in the past and what they have been able to do, what they started, what they initiated, what they could not finish and what they finished, or what they did well and what they could not do well, we have been able to measure and compare the administration of all these people that have governed us at one time or the other. And then I came to a resolution that it is better at this particular point in time that we need some criteria that will guide us into electing another person that will govern us for the next 4 years. What are the things the previous persons have done right? What are the things they did halfway? And what do we really need in the 21st century? And who is able to give us what we'll need as an Ekiti person? Or, I represent the largest demography when it comes to the population of Ekiti. Who is able to accommodate the interest of the youth that I represent? Who is able to give us employment? Who is able to empower the youth? Not the Eroata empowerment.
Yeah.
Not the machine Okada empowerment. Yeah. Who is able to do this in the right sense of it? And who is able to develop an Ekiti will all be proud of? Who is able to galvanize the youth together, galvanize resources to ensure Ekiti is developing at a pace we all want. Not someone that will subject us to retrogression. Not someone that will make us feel we are still in the 1980 or 1970. Ekiti needs an administrator par excellence that is able to redirect this state and able to lead us right and then ensure we have an Ekiti we'll all be proud of.
So I think that is very stirring, honestly, highlighting that the core of what made you write the article is your experience.
Yes.
And also a forward prophecy.
Of course, where Ekiti should be.
Where Ekiti should be. I think in your article there are about 12 interesting things that you highlight. I would like if we can go through them one after the other. You started with something very remarkable. A governor that understands the terrain. What do you mean by that?
Understanding the terrain is understanding the core values of Ekiti, then understanding the length and breadth of Ekiti. Not someone that is domiciled abroad, that does not know where Ekiti is strategically located, does not know the demography, the topography, and does not know even the north, cannot differentiate where the south ends, does not know what is peculiar to Ekiti as a people. Because if you don't know a people, you might not be able to know what they need at a particular time.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't know our culture is our identity. Someone that understands the terrain, that knows the length and breadth of Ekiti, not someone you will now see be tutoring or be teaching. You know, when I mean terrain, I'm not limiting it to just the geographical terrain. You know,
That understands the political,
economical
terrain, yes.
terrain,
Yes.
that understand the structure of Ekiti State. Not someone you'll be tutoring on how to administer a state like Ekiti State.
Do you think we have any of the lineup? Do you think there's any candidate that you think do not know the terrain?
Well, I'm not sure we have them in the major political parties anyway.
Okay.
I'm not sure we have someone that is not grounded, that does not know the terrain. But then, like I said, terrain is not limited to the geographical areas.
Yeah.
So I might not be able to say
Speak
if
to the other
yes,
criteria.
yes, I might not be able to say if that person is economically grounded or someone that can administer a state.
The agricultural potential of Ekiti State is something that you also touch on.
Yes,
Why
yes.
is it important, honestly?
You know, there was a time in Nigeria that Ekiti State was one of the richest. I think before Ekiti State was created, Ekiti is divided into 3 regions. We have Ekiti Central, we have Ekiti South, and we have Ekiti North. Ekiti North is known for plantation of tubers, particularly yam and then cassava, and majorly tubers. The land in the northern region is completely very fertile for that. Now, if you check the Ekiti Central, you will see cereal. Their land is good for cereal. That's where you have Ibimo rice, and so on and so forth around Ekiti Central. But when you look at the south, especially Ilawe houses, you will see they cultivate plantain in large quantity. The land is very, very good for that. Now we need Ekiti that understands this and knows that we need to return back to land. We can leverage on partnership to drive this. Are you getting me?
Yes. You also mentioned that the governor should be somebody that's ready to turn Ekiti to a technical hub.
Yes. You know, technology, ICT drives the world now. ICT drives the world, and then, you know, that technical knowledge in the context I mean someone that will be able to leverage on information communication technology to drive the economy of the state. We can't do things the same way and be looking for a different result. So, you know, in some states, we have an area where there will be coverage for internet work, internet access to make the work easy.
Like technology hubs,
Technology hub.
Yes.
And that is not limited to the network providers. Are you getting me? So we can have people that will be interested in technology.
All right. So there's something also interesting that you talk about in your article. The governor of Ekiti must have 40% youth in his cabinet.
Yes. And that will lead me to talk about youth inclusion.
Yeah.
Youth inclusion in governance. You know, in Africa, we have missed it. I could remember when I read an article and Kofi Annan said, when we need a thing about anything, we go to experts. But when we need something that is peculiar to the youth, or when we want to engage youth, we go and look for an elderly person and put in a position that befits the youth. Now, when we are talking about inclusion, we're talking about putting the youth in the context of youth. I'm talking about youth. I'm not talking about fairly used youth, elderly youth, or senior youth. Because, you know, when you put someone that is not in your shoe, when he puts on your shoe, you might not be able to feed the person appropriately. Are you getting me? In the 21st century, we have the youth that are technically sound, creative, and innovative. So if you don't put them to drive the economy of a state, who will do it better? Do you think a 58-year-old man, a 60-year-old man should be in charge of the youth structure, directing youth? How many youth will it be? You know, we can use monetary inducement, but then in the area of deploying capacity, in the area of deploying ingenuity, the youth in Ekiti are very sound. So if you have at least, do you know why we limited it to 40%? Why I limited it to 40%? I think the women are there, the elderly people too are there, people with disability are there. Are you getting me? So if we have 40% of youth in the structure, it will help to facilitate growth. Are you getting me? These people are intelligent. They can bring in new innovations. Are you getting me? To drive the state, to drive everything. You know, if you look at crime, you look at people that are doing crime, they are youths. People that are doing fine, you have youth there. Are you getting me? People that are doing fine in Nigeria, that are making Nigeria proud abroad, we have youth that are leading in all phases of endeavor. Yeah. Are you getting me? That are leading the positive change. So we must rightly include the youth now to drive Ekiti State. So a governor that is interested in the youth, not the one that is interested in Hallelujah boys, not the one that is interested in Baba Kekwe. You know, I have said in several opportunities I've had to speak that we need people that will not use our youth as political tools. Political tools like hoes and cutlass that you use during cultivation. And during harvest, you have hung them somewhere and they are not useful to you again. Our youths are not tools to be used and discarded. So we need someone that will engage us. And, you know, we are not talking about PAs alone. And we're not talking about PA to a PA. We're talking about strategic positions in government, such as becoming a commissioner that will be in charge of youth development in Ekiti State. We can split sports development from youth development, put a youth in that area. We can have a youth that is a speaker of the House of Assembly. We can have a youth that is SSD. We can have a youth in almost any position that is available in government. Not just the elderly people can do this.
There's something also interesting that I think that we also need to touch on. When you talk about how that the governor that we need in Ekiti State should not be one that uses political offices as rewards for politicians.
Yes. You know, in place of capacity. Because, you know, people that participate in electioneering, they want to reward them. This supposed is from this local government, and because he had participated, he has used his resources, let's reward him with this office.
That's the type of politics that we practice today.
But I'm saying we need a governor that believes in capacity rather than rewarding a politician.
So my point then is, can a governor that came out from politics of interest decide to prioritize capacity when he is governor?
Yes, he can miss this thing. We'll always have people, you have to always reward people. But there are sensitive positions that you dare not reward people with.
Positions like commissioners is not what you reward people with.
That is what I'm saying. Because a ministry is like a state. Yes. It has its own budget, and you can run so many things with a ministry. So if you put someone because of someone that does not have the requisite capacity, are you getting me, to administer that ministry, but because you want to pay him back, because he had supported you, and you want to pay him or her back, and you put him in that place, that you will be bigger than that individual. So someone that is interested in capacity rather than rewarding a politician will be a best fit governor to administer Ekiti State.
Your article basically summarized and say a governor that must the next governor of Ekiti State must do these things.
Yes.
It means that we also have a responsibility in selecting who that governor is.
That is it.
So we first have to identify who is the governor that can do those things from the candidates that has been presented to us.
Yes.
Either who can do it or who can we lobby into doing it.
Okay.
Then take a stand as young people of Ekiti State who have influence, who have a voice, who can say, let's match and say, okay, this is the person that we have decided to go, or this is the direction we have decided to go in, and we can mobilize and go in that direction. Is that possible in Ekiti State? 2020,
when we had the NSAS, and that has taught us much that youth are actually very much available and they are ready to come out. We have two major structured organizations. We have the Youth Parliament and we have National Youth Council. Are you getting me? We have many youth organizations that are registered under these umbrella bodies. Are you getting me? They are registered and we can always engage them. They have headship, they have leadership. Are you getting me? So we can't absolutely say there are no youths outside there that are getting involved. You know, we all have the capacity to mobilize, but then you don't have to muscle people to follow whatever you have decided. You have to allow people to choose based on their own criteria. Are you getting me? As a Speaker of Ekiti Youth Parliament, we are going to take a direction. We are going to say this is a direction we feel is very okay for people to follow. Are you getting me? And we are going to mobilize our youth across the 16 local government to follow whosoever we have decided to follow based on our engagement. We are going to engage these candidates, get to see and feel what they have for the youth. Let's see if it is in tandem with what we have itemized.
Yeah.
If it is in tandem with what we have itemized, then we'll get the youth to back whatsoever. But then I'm still saying we cannot force all the youths to have the same direction. Are you getting me? Some will decide to follow Mr. A, some will decide to follow Mr. B.
Yeah.
But I'm saying we have the capacity to mobilize all our youth based on a general convention. We are going to subject it to a debate. We have our platform where we get to engage. We have engaged one of them on our platform. He has spoken with us, and we are expecting others to come in. Are you getting me? So we get and we measure what they have, their manifesto. We check it with what we want as youths. Are you getting me? Now we youth are discussing, and we'll still discuss more to see how we can have a debate for this candidate, to see who means well, or who meant well for Ekiti youth. Because we are not going to trade our future for peanuts this time. Are you getting me? Someone that is ready to engage us, not to use us and discard us. Are you getting me? When the government comes in, this should be able to embrace us, follow our policy document, and see how we can be rightly engaged and involved in governance of our state.
Summarily, any last final shot for you?
Thank you. I would like to encourage our youth to get involved. Don't stay at the corner of your house when election is going and be watching BB Naija or whatever you call it. Get involved. They will not come and call you to take a position if you are not involved. And the voters registration is ongoing. You know, I have said it. If you don't have a permanent voters card, you are not even, in fact, you should not be involved in any conversation around political settings or governance in Nigeria, because you don't have a right to it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have my permanent voter is with me everywhere I go. Should I show you? Let me.
Yeah, sure.
I will show you. Yeah, it's always with me. Oh.
Yeah,
You see, this is my own voters card. It is a very valuable instrument to effect a positive change.
As we wrap up this episode, the final message is simple. The individual that must become the governor of Ekiti State, according to our right honorable, is one that has the security and the welfare of Ekiti State's young people and Ekiti State indigenes on the front border of the administration.
Yes.
The only thing you need as a young person to be able to contribute to that conversation is to get your PVC and vote in that election. My name is Mayowa Olajide Akinleye. This is Conversation Ekiti. Remember, follow the conversation, vote in the election. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Thank you.